These rocks, inscribed with Buddhist scripture, you find everywhere on the trail. They're Mani stones. It reads Om Mani Padme Hum. It translates to blessed by the jewel and the lotus. But there are many more chants on the other stones that you pass. You have to pass it always on the left. And then you will have the Mani wheels in all kinds of sizes. You'll also see people chanting a sutra, a form of prayer. Some of them will do it 1,000 times a day, and it will influence what happens with you in your next life. Charlotte and I wanted to film the market in Namche. And so we left at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and there was a kind of a mist hanging over Kumchung. You could see the sun peeking through. And then when we walked away from Kumchung, we said, we have to stop here. Because you saw the clouds disappearing. It had snowed the evening before. It was absolutely magical. Then we started our trip to Everest Base Camp. It's a 5-day track. Every day it's a new adventure. Again, you have to take it slow. You now go from Kumchung is at 3,800 meters. The base camp is at 5,300 meters. You have to take that easy. There are climbs of about 3-4 hours. You stop more or less every 10 minutes because you feel that the altitude hits you. Every day you feel more or less out of breath. We didn't take any pills, no medicine. Ivan and I are very proud of that because I think it was our guides, Kumar and Charlotte, that really pounded it into us to say, if we do this easy, if we do the track very slowly and we enjoy the views, then you will have no problems. When you feel sick, just tell us and we will deal with it. You pass the Tengbachi monastery. It was destroyed twice by earthquakes and rebuilt in 1934 and again in 1989.
Nick, people who decide to travel through the area, what can they expect in the way of accommodation?
Staying in lodges, I think you have to take that with a grain of salt. The closer you get to Everest Base Camp, the worse it gets. Sleeping, and I have no problem with it. I can sleep on a very hard cot. Walls are very thin. It's all made from plywood. The only thing is you have to share a bathroom. One bathroom is about 20 or 30 people. Food is okay, some places are better than the other one. But when you go on that trip, don't think it's luxury because it's definitely not luxury.
Nick, do you have any other advice for people who are considering traveling through that area?
My advice for any person that wants to do the track is you have to be in a good shape. You cannot train for this. There is nothing that high. Everybody can do it as long as you follow the rules of the guides.
Well, tell us about seeing Everest for the first time.
For me, Everest was not even the highlight. Everest is actually a pretty, kind of a pyramid-sized mountain. There are many great peaks that are actually way more spectacular. Anna de Blam, Pumori, Lhotse. Every day you see new peaks. And of course it's fantastic because everybody knows Everest and everybody knows the stories about Everest. But actually, looking around you and see all these other glaciers and see all these other peaks, that's actually one of the highlights. One day that you definitely remember is we sat in a lodge. Then you get about a 3-hour going up the mountain where you come to a memorial place where there is memorials for all the people who died on Everest. Every day you come a little closer to Everest Base Camp, the target. The valley gets wider and wider. You see these incredible overhangs of snow and snow-capped mountains there. We were lucky we had beautiful weather. We had to protect ourselves completely from the sun because you can burn to a crisp there. The yaks are everywhere, and you have to stay on the inside because otherwise they knock you off the mountains. Yaks actually thrive at a higher altitude. They cannot live where it's lower and warmer. Then you see the first remnants of the glacier. It's slowly receding, of course, like you can see where the glacier was in the past. And the closer you come to Everest Base Camp, the more you see of the glacier. The first thing you see is the Khumbu Glacier. And it's amazing to see because this is the first obstacle that climbers for Mount Everest have to go over. Base camp, of course, we didn't talk with many people there. We talked with some Sherpas, but because the people were there to climb Mount Everest. Nobody had reached the peak at that moment yet. What impressed me the most about the Everest Base Camp was those snow peaks that are formed by the wind and the snow and the water. Because at a certain moment I walked down, I wanted to take some close-ups of it, and Kumar said, "Stop it, Nick, hold it no further." And I asked him why I couldn't go further, because I said I want to take a picture. He says, "Don't forget, you're on a glacier, on a massive glacier, probably 50 to 100 meters high. When you fall in a crevasse, that's it, you're finished." Because the water was running on top of this glacier. I thought it was just a river, but you don't realize that you're actually on top of a massive glacier, where also the entire base camp sits on. Climbers spend an average of 40 days at Everest Base Camp, and they have to go up and down to the different camps on the way to Mount Everest to acclimatize.